So, given the fallout of the Man United game, where we failed to get the extra 2 points, and there's been an awful lot of goings on the internet, the sky is falling, oh my God, we're losing it. We could have been 8 points ahead with a game in hand, and now we're not. But I decided to do a deep dive into where we're currently at. We all know we're 6 points clear with a game in hand, but what does that really mean? So I wanted to look into it from the perspective of all of the other clubs versus ourselves. I'm going to hit you with a lot of statistics here, so get ready. I think it'll be worth it. So we've got a few main challenges. Some of them legit, some of them not so much. But I'm limiting it to Forest, City, Arsenal and Chelsea. Forest because they're currently in second place. So in no particular order, I want to talk about each one of them and the pros and cons of them and where they stack up against us. I'll talk about Liverpool at the end. So let's start with Forest. Here's where they're at right now. Played 20, won 12, drawn 4, lost 4, goal difference of plus 10, and they're 6 points behind us and have played a game more. We play them this week. If they win, they can go 3 points behind us and have played a game more. But here's the thing about Forest. These, I think, are really important points to make about them. They're the lowest scorers in all of the top 12 with only 29 goals. This one's amazing. They got the lowest possession in the Premier League. Second lowest is Everton. And recently when they played Everton had 61% possession against them. They lost 2-0, but they had by far the highest possession of any game that they've had this season, Everton. The highest scorer is Chris Wood with 12 goals. The rest of the team, which would include penalties and own goals, I don't know if they have them, all the other goals combined are 17 outside of Chris Wood's 12. They had a recent win against Wolves, and I watched that game out of interest because we're playing them this week. They won 3-0. Now if you just look at the result, great result, but they broke away early on and they scored, and then Wolves should have scored 3. They missed sitters and the goalkeeper was brilliant, and he went away and he broke away and he scored another one and another one. They only had 3 shots on target in the whole game and they won 3-0. Now the reason I'm bringing that up is they're 13th in the league for shots on goal and 13th for big chances created. So they're really making the most of what they're doing. I told you the 20th in terms of possession, actually holding on to the ball, but the 19th in touches of the ball. 19th, and they're in second place in the league. So they rely almost exclusively on a low block and a counter-attack, and it's been devastating for them. It's been brilliant. They've really done well with it. But it all comes down to Gibbs-White, Elanga and Hudson-Odoi with Chris Wood through the middle. That's how they did us in the first game, and that's how they've been doing for everybody. But their second, third and fourth scorers after Chris Wood are Gibbs-White with 4, Elanga with 3 and Hudson-Odoi with 2. You add all that up and you think, can these go on to pull back that deficit against us? Well, I'm saying they can't. Not with those numbers. You know, a goal difference of +9 as well. Normally a team that is really challenging for the Premier League title is up in the 20 plus goal difference by now. The bookies have given them odds of 50 to 1. They're the outsider of all the teams I'm going to talk about. And their win rate, this is important, remember this win rate for when I talk later on in the video. The win rate is currently 60%, 12 out of 20 games. On to Man City. Played 20, won 10, drew 4, lost 6, goal difference of +9. They're 12 points behind us and they've played the game more. Now, a lot's been made out of Rodri. The win rate that Man City have without Rodri, not just this season, over all the seasons, is less than 60%. This season, their win rate is 50% and he's been missing for the majority of it. Now, you add to that, their midfield. Gundogan, who they brought back, is 34. Kevin De Bruyne, who has been injured a lot, is 34 in June. Kevin De Bruyne this season has got 3 assists, and both of them are showing significant signs of age. You watch Kevin De Bruyne play, he is not the Kevin De Bruyne of the past, and he is not going to be the same Kevin De Bruyne in the future as well, because he's getting on for 34. Right back, Kyle Walker. For several seasons, he got away with errors, and City got away with errors because of his unbelievable pace. I couldn't believe it a season ago. He was still doing it, but this season it's gone. There always comes a time where a defender can't do it anymore. And that game that I watched was against Spurs, when he looked like he couldn't run anymore, as Timo Werner, of all players, just went right past him. He's 35, so his legs are gone as well. So you add all that together, it reminds me of when we had Milner, Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Henderson, all seemed to get old at the same time, and we lost all the legs in midfield. That's what's happening to City. You add to that, Jack Grealish has been a complete waste of space and just can't get in the team this year. The backup to him is Doku. Not good enough. Tricky, that's it. He doesn't do anything else. He's got no end product. He doesn't score enough goals. Doesn't give enough assists. Of course, you've got Haaland, who is currently, he's second to Mo Salah in the scoring, but he's got 1 assist this season. 1. He just doesn't link up play at all. He relies on service, and that service is not coming to him because of all the other things I've just said. Add to that as well, you know how Ederson was considered one of the world's great goalkeepers, mainly because no one ever shot at him. He's been having to deal with a lot of shots this season, and I think he's been exposed because he has not been anywhere near a top keeper this season. So, City, odds 25-1, and that's really because of what they've done the last 4 seasons. Win rate, again, remember it, 50% so far this season. Chelsea, played 20, won 10, drew 6, lost 4. Goal difference of plus 15. 10 points behind us, played a game more. But they've had 2 points from the last 12 in the last 4 games. There was a time just before the new year where the games where we'd played a couple of games less, and Chelsea had a game where they actually could have gone above us in the league, and they blew it. And since then, they've just collapsed. But here's the issues with Chelsea. They've got the worst defence in the current top 5, 24 goals conceded, and they've got the worst goalkeeper. And when you've got the worst defence and the worst goalkeeper, the chances of you winning the league versus your rivals, very, very slim. They've got Cole Palmer, and are you as sick of hearing about him as I am? I have heard the word genius used for that kid. We've been inundated with it. He's a genius. He's not. He's a very good player, and he does some really nice stuff, and he scores some really nice goals, but he also disappears in the big games. He has not shown himself at all to be a big game player. He seems a little bit of a prima donna to me too, with his little, look at me, look at how I scored today. He's very good, but he is not anywhere near world class, and he's certainly not a genius. Add to that, you've got Jackson. The other thing I've heard this season, Jackson, he's scoring goals now. He's got 9. Got 9 league goals. Just going back to Palmer, he is by far and away their number 1 source of goals. He's got 13 goals, and he's got the highest assists in the team with 6. But Chelsea don't have that premium striker, and they don't have a lot of options where they can bring in, let's just say they want to rest Palmer or they want to rest Jackson. Who've they got? They haven't really got anyone. They've got 2 goal scorers, that's it. They're defensively the weakest and the goalkeeper's the weakest. So their odds are 50-1. Win rate, 50%. On to Arsenal. Played 20, won 11, drew 7, lost 2. Goal difference of plus 21. So Arsenal have got the least number of defeats of all of our rivals, and a significantly higher goal difference than the rest. But here's a really, really interesting stat. Against the teams in the top half this season, they've played 10, won 2, drew 6, and lost 2. So against the other members of the top 10, They've got 12 points from 10 games. They are overly reliant on a very good defence. When I say very good defence, they've got the best defence in the league with 18 goals conceded by 1 from us and Forest. And they do have, like Notts Forest, a very, very good goalkeeper. But they're reliant on that. And the other thing that they are overly reliant on is set pieces. They're actually playing for them rather than try and play through the lines and score goals. They're working on set pieces. Now, yeah, look at Europe's top teams and all the set pieces they've scored, but they're not scoring enough from open play. They're scoring more from set pieces than they are from open play. And is that sustainable? I don't think so. Here's their highest strikers, their highest goal scorers this season. Havertz with 7, Martinelli with 5, and Saka with 5. Saka's out for the next couple of months. After that, you've got Jesus with 3, Trossard with 3. That set of forwards, for me, doesn't come close to what is required to win a Premier League title, and doesn't come close to what we've got at Liverpool. Havertz, in his whole career, he has got less than 1 goal every 2 games. He's 1 goal every 2.4 games this season. And his last 5 seasons, he scored 12, 4, 8, 7 and 13. And right now he's on 7, so he's on par to sort of equal what he got last season. So he's a 1 every 2.5 game striker, and he's their number 1 striker with Saka out. You've got players like Martinelli, incredibly inconsistent, can turn it on and can go missing, and often does. And again, he scored 5 goals this season. You've got Gabriel Jesus, couldn't get in the team, comes in, bags a few goals in the, I think it was the League Cup, so he's thrown back in and is not making an impact at all. And he's another one that Man City let him go because he was inconsistent, and in no way was he a goal scorer that can win you titles. That's what City thought. That's what I think. The one other player to mention is Odegaard. Odegaard this season, and he's another one that you hear about, don't you? Oh, Odegaard's back. They're not the same without Odegaard. Odegaard's got 1 assist this season. Arsenal, they are by far our closest rivals in terms of odds. 4-1. A win rate, 11 out of 20, 55%. So all the teams I've talked about, Forest are the highest with 60. The other 3 are 50, 50 and 55 in terms of win rate after over half a season. Let's go on to Liverpool. Played 19, won 14, drew 4, lost 1. Goal difference of plus 28. 7 ahead of Arsenal and many, many more ahead of anybody else. 6 points clear of Arsenal and Forest with a game in hand. 10 points clear of Chelsea. 12 clear of City with a game in hand. The top scorers with 47. 8 goals more than Arsenal and Chelsea. Second best defence with 19. Salah, top scorer with 18. And the most assists with 13. Now you think Arsenal's assists, the number 1 was Saka, he's gone. But all of these teams, their top assist player, Kyle Palmer's got 6. Salah's got 13. Now in terms of after Salah, in terms of scoring, Diaz has got 8. That's more than Arsenal's top scorer. Gakpo's got 6, and Jota, who's been out for long stretches of the season, has got 4. Unlike the Rodri situation and the Saka situation, we have got currently no big player injuries. Yeah, we've got a couple of injuries, but none of our big players are injured now. And Kanate and Bradley, who are essential, have just come back. We've got the best attacking, I'm going to say quartet, with Jota, Gakpo, Diaz and Salah. None of the other teams have got that type of quality up front. We've got the best goalkeeping options with Alisson. Yeah, he's had a little bit of a tricky spell after coming back, but he's still brilliant. And Kelleher behind him. And when we had Kanate fit and firing and the whole back 5 together, we had the best defence in the league, and there's no reason to believe that we won't go back to that when we have that 5 put back in place when Kanate's back and fit, which he will be very, very soon. The odds for Liverpool, 1-4. The win rate for Liverpool right now, 74% versus all the other ones I've just talked about. One last thing I want to talk about, I think this is important as well. The points per game. Points per game at home and points per game away from home. So Liverpool have got an average points per game at home of 2.3 and away from home of 2.56. In both cases, significantly over 2. Arsenal at home 2.33, away 1.73, significantly below 2. Forest at home 1.89, away 2.09, which sort of can be explained by the fact that they rely on hitting you on the break, and while they're playing away, they've got more chance to break on a team that's pressing them. But again, 1.89 at home. Chelsea 1.67 at home, 1.91 away. They're below 2 in both measures. Man City 2.0 at home, so they just squeaked 2, and 1.4 away. I'll just remind you, Liverpool's 2.3 and 2.56. That points per game, Liverpool are first in the league. Arsenal at home are 4th, although they have a game in hand and they can go joint first with Liverpool, but they're 4th away from home. Forest are 8th at home and 2nd away from home. Chelsea are 10th at home, 3rd away from home, and City are 5th at home and 7th away. And they've all played 20 games. And this is not a fluke. This is not after 5 games or 10 games. So the conclusion from all of that, for me, is we are in incredibly good shape. Not just from the fact that we're 6 points clear with a game in hand, or 9 points clear with a game in hand, but look at those statistics. These teams are going to have to go on an unprecedented run of results, significantly higher than what they've achieved in the first 20 games, to even equal us in the next 19 games. Never mind, or 18 games. Never mind pull back 6 or 9 points. Let's say they all go from their 50 to 60% win rate. Let's say from now to the end of the season they get 80% of the points on offer. That means all of them would get 43 points out of the 54 left. They'd only drop 11. Let's just say all 4 of them do that. That would mean they would end up on Arsenal 83 points, Forest 83 points, Chelsea 79 and Man City 77. If all of them get 80% of the points left on offer. For Liverpool to reach 84 points, which, just using that assumption, the best they can get is 83, Arsenal and Forest. For Liverpool to reach 84 points, we need 38 points from a possible 57. That means we only need, even if they get 80, we only have to get 67% of the points that are on offer. And we are currently at a rate of 81% of the points that have been on offer so far this season. We've got 81% of them. So we'd have to drop back from 81 to 67, and they're going to have to go up from around 55 to 60 to 80. And even if that happens, we still win the league by a point. So I know that's a lot of information, but what that tells me is it's more than just about being 6 points ahead with a game in hand. When you look at the bigger picture here, not one of those teams look capable of going on a sustained run that is going to get them massive amounts of points. And even if they do go on very, very good runs, we don't even have to be quite as good as we've been in the first 19 games, and we still win it. So nothing can be taken for granted. Injuries can take their toll. Lots of things can happen. But all I'm saying is, yeah, we drew against Man United, but the wheels haven't fallen off. Before the Spurs game that we were just robbed of, we'd won 20 and drawn 4 of the previous 24 games. So all I'm saying, I'm not sitting here saying we've won the league or we're going to win the league, but what I'm telling you is that it's really, really, really looking good. All the best. You never walk alone. See you soon. Ta-ra.